Judge Terri Jackson has made history as the first African-American woman to serve on the 1st District Court of Appeals. Governor Newsom appointed her in November before she was sworn in January. Judge Jackson is here with our own Dave Clark with more on her journey to one of the most powerful benches in the state.
Garcia, thank you. I am so glad to be sitting next to Judge Terri Jackson. Thank you for making time to be here.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, you're spectacular. To clarify, you're a first, but explain what that first means.
I am the first appellate justice and the associate justice in the 1st District of the California Court of Appeal. There are 6 appellate districts throughout the state, and I'm just in the 1st District, and I happen to be the first African-American woman to be appointed to that position.
Is major. That is major. We talked about the importance of the fact that you exist, and that people need to see and know that someone who's eminently qualified becomes that first African-American female. What does it mean to you?
Well, personally, it can be a little overwhelming, but I am not going to downplay the significance, the historical significance, as well as what this position or my appointment can mean to so many others, so many women who are younger than I, who are still in law school or in college or high school or whatever, and they can see that this person who, I was born in Daly City, California, grew up, public school, high school, Jefferson High, and here I am on the Court of Appeal, that maybe I could be a role model or pathway. More so to offer emphasis that there are so many women who look like me, who are practicing, who are on the bench, who are as qualified, or if not more qualified than I, who can have this position as well. So if anything, it's the historical, being the role model and opening the doors, and hopefully it won't be 9 years or 5 years, but next year we'll see more women of color, more African-American women in positions, not only in the trial court where I started, but in the Court of Appeals and maybe even higher.
Well, I'm going to claim it on credit before it happens. Talk about your family and what happened with your dad and the movie To Kill a Mockingbird that kind of led you in a way to this point.
Great story. My sister hates the story, but Portia, my older sister, was named after the Merchant of Venice, the lawyer. My father wanted to have a lawyer, and more importantly, he wanted, if he had a daughter, that daughter was going to be a lawyer. So my sister had the name Portia, and they did everything possible to get Portia interested in being a lawyer. Portia wouldn't have any of it. I'm named after my sister's imaginary friend, Terri. And so my parents saw that there was To Kill a Mockingbird, and they figured this is where Portia's going to go to the movie, learn her destiny, and realize she should be a lawyer. I was about 4 or 5 years old. They couldn't find a babysitter, but they figured that they would take me to the theater. I would fall asleep. Portia would watch the movie, and the rest would be history. Well, we go to the movie, and my father kept nudging Portia, but she fell asleep. I stayed away.
You stayed away.
And I watched the movie, and there were 2 things that my parents always remind me of. I walked out of the theater and said, what happened to that man, Tom, what happened to him was wrong. Why didn't the judge do something about it? And I want to be a person such as Atticus Finch, to stand up for what was right and not go with what was popular. And so from there, my father just took me to every court, every trial, particularly if there was an African-American who was in the courtroom. I watched the former Mayor Willie Brown in trial. I've watched the late Justice Clinton White, who I'm so blessed to be in his division. He was on the Court of Appeals in 1st District in Division 3, which that is my division. So every morning I walk down the hallway and I see Justice Clinton White's photograph, gives me inspiration. But my father had enough wherewithal and foresight to say, I'm going to take you to watch others. And my mother reminded me of, I used to say to my dad, why haven't I seen any black women as judges? And my father used to say, you will be someday. I don't remember that, but that's what my mother would remind me of.
That is absolutely beautiful. So what do you see, as we start to wind down, what do you see for the future? What else do you want to do?
What else do I want to do? I want to do a good job. I just started this elevation or this assignment, and I am having the best time of my career. I also had a great time as a trial court judge, but what do I want to see overall? I want to do a good job, write coherent decisions or opinions that people can understand them, and I want to see many more who look like have the same background as I do and to be on our bench and represent our great state.
Well, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your dear friend, the retired Judge Gloria Rines, who led me to you. And I just thank you for taking the time to be here. This is not a Black History Month thing. It's not a Women's History Month thing. It's just you and the greatness of you.
Thank you.
Judge Terri Jackson, thank you for being here, and I wish you continued success in all you do.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me and be able to be a voice of the court.
Thank you, Judge Jackson.
Thank you.
Garcia Sal, Frank, back.